Everybody, this is a video about studying data engineering as a beginner. So I'm currently working as a data engineer, but before this I was a data analyst, and there's some not so obvious distinction between analysts, engineering, and scientists. And from this video, I really want to cover what exactly is data engineering, what kind of role it plays in companies, and what kind of and the things that are really I wish I would have known before diving into studying data engineering. So the first thing is obviously everybody, if you're out of college, when you're studying by yourself, you start learning Python and SQL. Well, in my opinion, Python is what when you use when you design a pipeline. Designing the pipeline is really important. First of all, I think it's more important than Python knowing how to write Python and SQL because these days Claude and AI tools are help you able to write like really efficient code. Queries that are like way more efficient than when you handwrite, faster, accurate. So designing the pipeline, and when you design the pipeline, and when you know where the data is coming from, let's say IoT devices like apps or websites, live data comes in. Then live data, then we need to use the stream architecture. Those kind of things are really important, far more than coding, in my opinion. So I would say these kind of knowing how to code is also important, but I would say around like it's the component is about like 10% out of out of the whole data engineering stack. So, but definitely it is important to know how to write code using AI tools that are provided these days. Yeah. So the roadmap is we need to know how to learn Python and SQL. These are the core skills. Number two is understand the pipeline. I would say this is far more important than writing code again. Number three is choosing a cloud provider. When you study about a cloud provider, you will know like what kind of things that you will have to learn. Each cloud provider, there's a lot of services inside. Each services are designed to solve a problem, or they are designed to be used in a certain situation. For example, there's a AWS Glue. It's like a pipeline tool where it's possible to um, transform and manipulate a big chunk of data, and it's a great tool. But that tool is only used for it can run Spark clusters and stuff. But that service is mainly designed to perform data transformations and so on and so forth. So each while you learn about cloud providers, you will learn a lot about the things and the services. And once you learn about the services, you'll be curious about what makes this service very unique. And through that process, you will learn about a lot about data engineering. Number four is understanding the business. I think this is a really underrated skill. A lot of people just focus on how to write Python and SQL, how to design a pipeline, what kind of services there are on cloud providers. But if you don't know what you're solving, or if you don't exactly know what kind of data you need to extract and transform it in the right way, you'll never solve the business. Data engineering skills, it all comes into also understanding the business data. So as I mentioned, Python and SQL. When there's a lot of data coming in, more flexibility comes with Python. Python is the tool that you can use to actually manipulate data that are really unstructured, weird, like videos, pictures, images, like voice memos, like those kind of data. You can go ahead and use Python to make it in a flattened format, which is a structured format. For SQL, once it's structured, you will be able to use it because the query is faster when you run it compared to Python when you use databases. Like, so there's a lot of databases like transactional databases, analytical databases, and a lot of organizations, depending on how much data, the data frequency of appending into the table or how much data we store it, how much updates we need for this databases. Depending on that, we can choose so many types of databases and data warehouses. When you design it, we can also use SQL to query the exact data that you need for your use case. And so SQL is very important as well. So once you learn how to Python and SQL, right? The transformation workflow here is like there's a lot of ways to study about this workflow. A lot of workflow comes from your exact scenario, your exact situation. So let's say you're trying to ingest real-time data from this device, and every month you want to use those everyday daily ingested data, and every month you want to produce like a report on the first day of the month about about the data. So first thing you would say is like, oh, we need like a streaming tool. And using that streaming tool, we store that data into the staging layer. And from that staging layer, we do like a transformation and we store it in the data warehouse or whatever it is. And then we build a report. So, so you would understand what kind of tools that you would use if you actually studied about the workflows. Data pipelines are another way to say like, transformation workflows. But the core of this slide is to actually go around internet or like YouTube or like other sources and study about data pipelines, like what kind of tools are used to build in this kind of situations, yeah, those kind of things. So this is what I covered actually. So there's so many data sources. It could be like data coming from data lakes, data warehouses. You ingest it, you stage it, and you store it. Like you're gonna probably wonder like, oh, how do you get to know these kind of terms like data lake, data warehouse from the beginning if nobody would really like mention it? So this is why I think cloud provider is really important, because when you study about a cloud provider, for example, let's say I studied a lot about AWS, and let's say we have data lake, right? S3. S3 in AWS is a data lake. And now when you study about S3, oh, you're gonna realize, oh, S3 is a data lake. Oh, what does it do? Oh, it stores. What's a data lake? Oh, a data lake is a place where you can store massive amounts of unstructured data cheaply. And there's multiple storage tiers depending on how much you access or how much you access that data storage, or like for cost optimization purposes. Like it will spark your curiosity once you learn one kind of service, and you will know like terms like data lake. Oh, there's data warehouses like Redshift. Okay, so what is Redshift? It's like a columnar storage where you can store data in multiple tables like dimension tables, fact tables, and then you can use like joins to join those tables. Like each services is very valuable to learn, and you have to be, if you're curious enough to learn about that service, you will learn a lot about data engineering. So I would highly recommend just choose a cloud provider, like Azure, GCP. All those cloud provider overlaps the knowledges in terms of like what's a data warehouse, what's a columnar storage, what's a JSON file, what's a data lake, what's a ETL service like Glue, and all those things. Like you will learn so much. So choosing the cloud provider is, I would say, step one if I didn't know anything about data engineering. And so orchestration and debugging is when I realized it's really important. Once you master all these kind of skills, like once you understand how to design pipelines, study about cloud providers, and you know Python and SQL, you're gonna face these challenges like orchestration and debugging, because a lot of times at work, if you have Airflow, it's easy to debug. But if you don't have any of these like orchestration tools at work, it's kind of hard to keep on track of like, oh, this pipeline broke. Oh, this pipeline did not break, but it didn't give me the right data, or it's it didn't flag that it's supposed to, like, there's supposed to be 50,000 data, but there's only 3,000 samples. Like, um, there's going to be, even though there's red flags, you wouldn't know. So, but this is a pretty advanced tool, and at first when I studied data engineering, I didn't understand why this is really important, because I was like, oh, if you just learn these services and if you know how to build a pipeline, why need this? Because if the pipeline breaks, I can just go in and just fix it. But it's a lot deeper than that. Even though the pipeline doesn't have a problem, if the right data doesn't come into you, the pipeline is meaningless. So it's like the same thing as when you have a machine learning model, it's trained with shitty data, and the machine learning model is bad. It's like, even though you have a great architecture of a machine learning model, if the quality of the data is bad, then, like, what's the point of training it, right? It's gonna end up being a bad model. So orchestration tools like this, Airflow, is the one that I'm using at work right now, is really important. Curiosity driven learning, yes. So you have to be curious. Also, this is just a skill set that you just need outside of, I guess, like, tech stacks. Because if you're not curious about the services in a cloud provider, like what it does, then you're not going to be able to learn anything. Like, there's like S3, you can use it with CloudFront. With CloudFront is like another service which it does like caching, so other, like, servers, when users all around the world can dive into, access into S3, they can use their, like, nearby server, like those kind of things. Like, you have to learn it. I didn't know any single thing about these if I didn't study about cloud provider. I would have only known how to write Python and SQL and maybe design a pipeline, but data is scaling, data is getting bigger, it's more expensive now, if you don't have a cloud provider. So definitely need this. Understanding the business is very underrated. Especially when you're a beginner, you just really focus on how I can code, how I can build this pipeline, how I can use this service. Oh, this service is really interesting. I want to use the service. Let's say for SageMaker, I want to build a machine learning model. But in the core, like, data engineering is a support role. So you deliver data to the people who need it. So if you think about it, if people need to target a certain people, if they need a marketing email list, right, to email marketing list to target the right people for marketing campaigns, because you can't just spam email to everybody. You gotta pick the right people, send the I guess, like, coupons to those kind of people. You need to incorporate a lot of business logic. In order to incorporate a lot of business logic, you need to know a lot about the data itself. So knowing what the data means, what kind of data the team that you're supporting needs, and how often they need, is really important. So I would highly recommend, if you're targeting some, like, I don't know, like, sales company, then look up their attributes, look up what kind of, like, metrics they often use. If it's marketing, it could be like, click-through rate, like those kind of metrics. If you look up at Claude and AI tools these days, it's so advanced, like, you can just, like, get the answers right away. So yeah, know your domain. So this is what I was basically saying. So now the full picture is, the order is kind of wrong, but I would definitely recommend choosing a cloud provider to learn more. Look up all the vocabularies that you don't know, like, whether it's like CSV file, Excel file, like, even really simple things like that. If you don't know, just go look it up. Curiosity will actually lead you to learn a lot better. Once you have a cloud provider in mind and you start learning it, you're gonna automatically learn these. You're gonna automatically learn how to understand the pipeline, how you're gonna learn how to understand right code, and you're gonna understand the business. And so coding, especially Python, you need to make sure you Python and SQL, both of them, you need to keep on writing, and that's the only way to get better. And yeah, so it's just not about cleaning data; it's about building the infrastructure that makes data useful. So yeah, well, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, go choose your cloud provider. Thanks.